Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into a topic that isn't just exciting, but it will change and revolutionize how we receive goods and practice work in many industries. The future of unmanned aerial systems is optimistic, with many new platforms and applications being integrated into society each day. The opportunities are really endless, and technology will only continue to get more sophisticated to meet a higher demand. So today I will discuss what a UAS future may entail for a broad range of consumers, but particularly in the field of emergency response. This specific industry has one of the best potentials for using UAS, as it has already demonstrated that it can cut down response times, increase situational awareness, and provide a beneficial bird's-eye view for search and rescue. Other major sectors that could also benefit from this implementation could include the retail industry. Companies like Walmart have already begun to deliver products in small regions of the United States and have had good luck so far. So stepping up from that, what does a mass introduction of drones look like? How will the FAA regulate autonomous flights? And how can we innovate AI to run a seamless operation without casualties and mishaps? To understand where the future of UAS is heading, we first need to understand its roots. While the very first unmanned aircraft emerged in the 17th century during the siege of Venice as hot air balloons, the beginning of the first widely used aircraft didn't come until World War I. As a way to stand out amongst Germany at the time, Great Britain and the United States adopted some basic UAS platforms like the Kittering Bug. It was an unmanned flying bomb that the US Army created, and it was launched off a rail and had a set flying distance, detonating on impact. However, it wasn't very accurate and proved to be more of a pain than an asset to American troops. Other crucial milestones include the introduction of the Tadarian Mastiff in 1972, which was one of the first modern, widely used surveillance drones. It used a new data link system that, at the time, was very impressive, feeding live onboard footage to operators. The release of the RQ-1 Predator in 1995 was also revolutionary due to its impressive range and strike capabilities for the US military. While these platforms have over time changed much of the way reconnaissance and operations are carried out, it has become increasingly difficult in recent years to conduct them in US airspace. Love them or hate them, the FAA has been cracking down on UAS and setting rules and regulations to maintain safe operations. Since the explosion of inexpensive consumer drones in the mid-2000s, there have been multiple significant accidents involving inexperienced drone users. It would sound like common sense, but don't fly near active airports. The FAA caught on to these reckless trends and set standard guidelines for hobbyists and a stricter regulation for commercial flights, known as Part 107. No one is exempt from following these rules and can face serious consequences if neglected, especially for large corporations. Is it extreme? In some scenarios, but these policies are ultimately put in place for everyone's safety. Despite all the regulatory hurdles, one industry that has done exceptionally well with integrating UAS is the emergency response field. I'm talking about law enforcement, firefighters, search and rescue, EMS, and even utility crews. In many parts of the United States, our departments use UAS to save lives on a daily basis. Some real-life examples include companies like FEMA and the Red Cross. They use drones in many significant natural disasters for search and rescue purposes to gain a helpful bird's-eye view. Not only does this help responders gain situational awareness, but it also helps map and address damage severity. One platform that is in high usage today in lost person searches is the Matrice 300 RTK. This crucial resource boasts some impressive payload capacity, usually thermal imaging cameras. Additionally, it has remarkable obstacle avoidance and nearly 1 hour of flight time. Because of DJI's advances in battery technology, searches and operations can last much longer than what was previously accepted. One of the most valuable characteristics that unmanned aircraft possesses is the ability to respond at a moment's notice. It may take a long time to respond to a natural disaster or even an emergency in a typical way, like cars, helicopters, and manned aircraft. However, on the other hand, entire UAS fleets could respond when a catastrophe strikes, scanning for survivors and coordinating with multiple recovery agencies. But that's not its only usage. Criminals are always on the run, and law enforcement agencies need an efficient way to find fugitives before more harm is done. Similar to the search and rescue imaging technology, police departments are using it to make finding wanted individuals much easier than before. A great example of this practice is the Chula Vista Police Department in California. Not only do they use UAS for searching, but they take it a step further by deploying a drone for every 911 call they get before they send out their squad cars. It's formally called the Drone as First Responder program, and I believe it's pioneers and programs like these that really help industries become more intrigued and likely to hop on the bandwagon for future operations. Speaking of the future, what kind of projected applications will UAS be used for? And how will this impact change our day-to-day lives? Well, I will say this, there are plenty of possibilities, but here's my personal take on the next few decades of UAS technology. Drones will continue to work their way into everyday consumers' lives by providing essential services like groceries, medicine, and even postal delivery. But not just in highly populated areas like Fort Worth. This will be a national service. Imagine an interconnected network of intelligent AI drones that will be able to reach almost anyone, but possibly excluding those who are living in very rural areas. Who knows, maybe future battery technology will allow us to reach even the most isolated places in the United States. Furthermore, emergencies will become less of a hazard as many of the traditional first responder vehicles will be phased out, causing fewer accidents on the route to provide aid. These new unmanned aircraft will be very fast, drastically outpacing any traditional means and providing essential medical equipment on the scene. Some of this equipment could include AEDs, first aid kits, and even trauma kits, at least providing basic assistance before in-person help arrives. I wouldn't even be surprised to see an airlift drone respond in life-threatening situations, but that isn't likely to happen for some time. Another interesting system that we may see in the near future is using small platforms for urban and industrial surveillance. HOAs and high investment facilities may employ the next evolution of security by utilizing UAS that use a bird's eye view to scan perimeters and identify suspicious activity. With all these new UAS aircraft occupying our airspaces, the question becomes about finding a solution to manage all of the traffic that comes with it. The FAA will have its work cut out for it, as this aspect will be one of the most challenging parts of integration. In the most likely scenario, AI will power a grid system that tracks every unmanned aircraft, ensuring that there are no mid-air collisions by adjusting altitude, speed, heading, etc. This will especially become more important when we start to transport people autonomously, as a mid-air casualty would be devastating not only to the occupants but also to others below. So with all of this in mind, let's wrap up. As we have explored, UAS have made remarkable strides since they were first introduced in World War I, and are no longer just tools as they are becoming vital parts of our practice, personal lives, and infrastructure. From uses in emergency response to delivering groceries to your door, the opportunities are vast. A brief explanation can't fully give this point justice. However, with the rapid growth in recent years comes the need for balance, and regulators like the FAA need to ensure a smooth transition to autonomy by assuring consumer safety and privacy. Looking forward, sky services are nothing short of exciting. Fast and cost-effective deliveries, personal security, and the potential for human transport, just to name a few. Whether you're a hobbyist, a first responder, or just a curious learner, the future is not only coming, but it is already here in society, waiting for you to proactively engage and stay updated on the newest innovations. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found the information helpful. Drop a comment below. What other interesting UAS applications did I miss? And if you liked the video, please consider subscribing. Until next time, fly high.